Welcome back, travelers. If you've been wondering how to get around Lima, Peru safely, I got you. Well, first of all, if you're new to my channel, my name is Stef, and I love giving travel advice to people who are coming to Peru so they can travel safely, so they can have an authentic experience, and so they know what to expect and be prepared for it. This channel has been existing for a really long time, and I've been here on and off, and many years ago, when I first did videos on getting around Peru, I talked about the different buses and taxis that you can take. And when I decided to get back on my account again and start making these videos, I got some comments from people telling me like, hey, I can't find this taxi app that you recommended in one of your videos, like what gives? And the reason for that, my friends, is that so many things can change in just a short amount of time in a few years. So some taxi apps that were working when I first did that video are no longer in business, maybe because of the pandemic, maybe because of certain regulations and restrictions here with, taxi apps and the Peruvian government. I don't know, but here's an update for you. Speaking of updates, I just did a video talking about the new banknotes that we have here in Peru. So if you have not seen that and you want to watch that after this video, you can click up here to go watch that video next. I'm looking at my old video, and luckily I listed all the taxi apps that I mentioned in that video in the description. So this makes my job right now a lot easier. So I don't have to watch that whole video. So I'm going to go through these lists of taxi apps that I recommended, and I'll tell you which ones I know are still working. So we still have Uber, that definitely is still working, and we do have Cabify still, and we still have Taxi Satelital. Taxi B, I don't know what happened. They were still operating like last year and just a couple months ago, I think, when I wanted to take a taxi from Taxi B. For whatever reason, it wasn't working, and I was wondering like, what happened? And anyway, I had to get a taxi from another app, and when I talked to the driver about it, they were like, oh yeah, that app has been discontinued here in Peru. And I'm like, but when? I literally just like used them not that long ago. And he was like, I don't know, maybe like, I don't know, 6 months or something before. And I was like, that's crazy, because me with my crazy spiritual beliefs, I was like, yo, did I just shift into a reality where this app doesn't work anymore? Because they were still just here not too long ago. I've been having crazy things happen in my life, and I believe in parallel realities, parallel dimensions, and things have been crazy in my life in the most interesting ways. So I don't know. Maybe Taxi Beat still exists in your reality, but it don't exist in mine. So Taxi Beat is no longer here for the time being. Maybe they'll come back. I don't know what happened to them. I'm not going to get into all the other apps, whether they still exist or not. If they're not coming up for you, they don't exist. If they're not working in Peru, they just don't work here anymore. So we're moving on. A new taxi app that I want to recommend if you're here in Peru is Didi. I can't remember if I first discovered Didi in Mexico or Colombia, but they exist in both places. And Didi is another taxi app. I think it's Chinese based or something. And it's a lot of times more affordable than Uber or Cabify. They oftentimes give you like really great promo deals. So if you would pay maybe 20 soles to get somewhere with Uber or whatever, with Didi, you might end up paying 13 soles. I don't really use Cabify myself because Cabify, I think a lot of times is like the most expensive or the one that costs the most out of the apps. I think Cabify is more geared towards like executive kind of people, business people. So that's up to you. If you feel more comfortable with that, chances are they have better cars, better service. So if you feel more comfortable with that and you want to spend a little bit more, you don't mind spending the extra cash, use Cabify. If not, you can go to Uber, but Uber a lot of times is a little bit more costly than Didi, as I said. And the difference between Didi and Uber is that the interface of Uber a lot of times looks more like professional, more legit. It just looks nicer as opposed to Didi, but Didi's still a great service. The cars that you get from Didi, it all depends, I think, on whether you get like a nice car or, just a car that needs maintenance is the nicest way I can put it. But I think for me, the most important thing is just getting from point A to point B. And if I can get a good deal on that, then I just go with Didi. That's usually who I go with. But sometimes the prices between Didi and Uber are about the same. So then I'm just like, well, then I might as well go with Uber. And I go with Uber. Going back to my taxi recommendations, there's also InDriver, which I believe I originally came across in Colombia. And InDriver basically is an app that you download that allows for you to kind of negotiate prices with taxi drivers via the app. And so you can kind of put down your route and say on the app, like, hey, I want to go to this place and I want to pay this much. And then you kind of let the people see if they counter that in some kind of way and whether you accept or if they accept and deny. That's more or less the gist of how it works. I have never used InDriver just because I just can't be bothered to do that. I just rather go with Didi, and that's what I do. But you can use InDriver as another option as well. And the reason that I haven't really used InDriver, especially in the past when I've been in other countries, is just because like I don't know how much the fare is from point A to point B. So I don't want to possibly like accept someone's fare if I don't know if they're charging me the just price or not, and vice versa. Like I don't want to propose a fare that might be unjust to the driver. You know what I mean? So that's why like I've kind of shied away from using InDriver. But I believe as well on InDriver, it also kind of lets you see like recommended fees for the route that you're wanting to take. So then you can just kind of, based on the recommended fee that the app gives you, propose how much you want to pay and then see who wants to like take you for that amount, right? So I believe that's how it works. Again, I haven't really tried it myself, but it is something that is becoming very popular here in Lima, especially. I don't know about other cities outside of Lima. Again, this is all straight just for Lima. It's going to be different in other cities in Peru. So you might not even be able to use most of these taxi apps in other areas of Peru. So again, just see which ones you feel comfortable with and be sure to download these apps while you're still in your home country, because in order to activate these things, you're going to get an SMS message from the app to verify your account, right? So when you come here, you're not going to necessarily get that SMS. Like this is what happened to my brother when he came to Peru recently, and I told him like download this app. Like I told him while he was in the airport in the US, I was like download this app. He downloaded it, but he didn't activate it till he was in Peru and he couldn't get the SMS then. So I was like, oh my God, why didn't you listen to me? I gave you instructions. So you would be prepared. So luckily I had the app on my phone. I just did it via my phone. But yes, when you download these apps, activate them right away. And then when you come here, you'll have no problem in using them because you'll be able to receive the SMS. And the reason that I'm going on and on about this SMS business is just because my brother has a phone. He has the iPhone 14, and he apparently told me that the iPhone 14s don't come with like the SIM cards, which blew my mind. So because he couldn't get a SIM card to put, like a local Peruvian SIM card to put in his phone, he had to use his service from the US while here in Peru. But his plan only allowed for him to really use Wi-Fi here with no problem. And if he was going to make phone calls or whatever, then it would be like an extra charge or whatever. So he couldn't really get like text messages, SMS messages here in Peru. So that's why he couldn't activate the apps here in Peru, because he was not going to get the SMS. Does that make sense? Versus if you come to Peru and you get a local SIM card here in Peru and you activate the app with the local SIM card, then you should be able to receive the SMS message or the text message, no problem, to activate your account. I hope that made sense. Like, let me know if this made sense in the comments below. I can only do so much, people, with the explanations. All right, so if you want another taxi app that you can use, apparently another taxi app that's similar to Satelital, which is a company that uses satellites to track their actual taxis and stuff like that, that's Satelital. So if you want a similar service, you can also use Taxi Directo. I've never used them, but that's an option for you to try here as well, so that you feel safe while traveling around Lima. Last but not least, the other day I was scrolling on TikTok and I got an ad for a new taxi app called Yango. So I have not tried Yango out for myself, but it's a new app here in Lima that apparently you can give a shot. And because they're new at this current time, July 2023, then they're giving you special deals to get around the city. You know, it's like 30% off or whatever percent off for you to be able to get around. So that's something that you can take advantage of for the time being. That is basically it for this update on taxi apps here in Lima, Peru that you can use. If you found this information helpful, please support my channel by giving this video a thumbs up and letting me know that you enjoyed it, that you got something out of it. You can also leave me a comment down in the comments below if you have any more questions about getting around Lima with transportation. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. I have plenty of more content coming up for you. And if you want to stay in touch with me via social media, you can always follow me on TikTok and Instagram as Evolving with Stef. That's where I share just a little bit about me, my journey, my personal thoughts. It's not necessarily focused on travel. It's just me living my life, being who I am. P.S. I am not sponsored by these apps in any kind of way. Ain't nobody paying me any kind of money. In the past, I could get little promo codes from some of the apps, but they don't do that anymore because they have enough business, I guess. I'm sure Yango is offering special promo codes with the influencers that are promoting their apps, but I'm not one of them. I'm just sharing what I know, what I see, what I'm coming across, and I hope that that really helped you. If you want to support my channel, you can support it, as I said, by liking this video, leaving a comment, subscribing, sharing my videos out with people. That helps me out a lot. And yeah, I just really hope I've made a difference in your life and in your planning for your trip here to Peru. And as always, stay curious, keep traveling, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.